go. Woodward Sports Network, Wednesday. I was all thrown off. I couldn't hear myself. I'm all thrown off today. Can we just start that again?
Yeah,
one more time? And here we go. Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Ermani and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermani. Stick, Sam Day in for Braylon Edwards today. Stick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate the call from the bullpen, and I hope I don't disappoint you, Ryan.
Dude, look, not only are we wearing gray sweaters, we are wearing gray zip-up sweaters today. Both of us had no idea what to do. Do we zip it up to the top? Do we break it down a little bit? How do we go about doing this today? But
I went with like the zip-down collar look.
You've got the white shirt in there. I've got the black shirt on underneath here. But I will tell you, and thanks for coming in today. Braylon will be back tomorrow. We certainly miss Braylon today. Love you, big guy. We'll see you tomorrow. Tom Mazaway along with us as well. Hello, Tom Mazaway.
What up there, fellas?
Can you not hear yourself today, buddy?
I'm hearing everything in delay right now, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think it's because you got your phone on, the sound on your phone.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, God.
Is that what's happening? What's going on with you today?
Thank you.
I already feel it.
You screwed me up.
I've already accomplished what I needed to.
I already feel it. Today is just going to be one of those days, is it not?
Thank you. Thank you, Stick. I'm good, man. It's a Wild Card Wednesday.
Wild Card Wednesday.
Let's go.
We've got Fish back on Wednesdays. He's with us. Fish, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, other than the fact that Stick's team won yesterday. But
what, is this a little high school action?
Fish hates when my high school team
I don't
wins
no.
anything.
I don't hate when your high school wins. I like when your high school wins. I just, the past two games, they've been playing okay. They've been kind of slipping some
The high
leads.
school that nobody knows who you're talking about, Fish.
No, they
Orchard
do.
Lake St.
They
Mary's,
do,
I believe.
because Stick talks about them every 5 seconds, so they have an
But
idea
to the new people,
of who it
yes.
is.
I went to
Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
#1 team in the state right now in basketball. They haven't lost a regular season basketball game in 2.5 years.
Wow, are you kidding me?
And they won in double overtime last night against De La Salle.
After they had like 8 different shots to win the game and messed them all up.
Have they won any state championship?
They lost in the state semifinals last year, and then the year before that it was canceled because of COVID. So,
oh my gosh.
No state championships out of undefeated regular seasons.
Unbelievable. I did not know that.
Isn't that a weird stat? Yeah.
I'll give you the baseball one though. You guys did win the baseball
They were
championship
national
last year.
champions
National
in
champions
baseball.
last year in baseball.
Alex Mayer along with us as well. How you doing in there today, buddy?
Good. It's game day for us Spartans.
It is.
Yeah,
we don't have a COVID problem.
Minnesota tonight, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what you got?
You should cancel that game.
No, we're good. We're gonna play.
I will tell you a side note about this. It is a little interesting that Michigan canceled a football game against Ohio State last year. They canceled Michigan State this year. They canceled Purdue as well. That does, I mean, look, I know we live in a world of COVID, but it just always seems, and I can understand why people want to take shots at your program, whether it's the football team or the basketball team. People want to take shots at your program when you only test positive before you play a good team.
Yeah, and the way Twitter responded to that, I mean, I saw Alex Mayer, I saw our friends that do the Inside the Locker Room. Everybody was going hard at Michigan, saying that they were just dodging the L and stuff like that. But to me, really, it has to do with the protocols of the NCAA and the Big Ten.
Well, obviously.
Right. So, but if you want to take a shot at Michigan, go ahead. Take your shot at Michigan. But at the end of the day, it's got to be settled on the court.
Yeah, so that's just something that's out there. Michigan State on the floor tonight against Minnesota. Dave Birkett, Lions writer for the Detroit Free Press, will join us coming up at 2:36 if you're scoring at home. We'll talk everything regarding the Detroit Lions. A lot going on with them, Stick, right now. Brad Holmes had his end-of-season press conference yesterday. Dan Campbell had one as well, exit interviews. There's a lot of moving parts now on how to get this team better quickly.
Right, and you look at this season and how it played out, and we'll listen to some of the sound clips later. But I think now they have the foundation. Last year, it was the demolition, right? That's where they were about this time last year. So you got your tear down. Now we've built the foundation. Now it's time to start putting some of these finishing touches on there. And if you've ever rebuilt a bathroom or anything, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm happy with where they are right now.
Literally a bathroom.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Like you had to replace it. The plumbing was bad. The toilet was bad. Everything was bad. So, yeah, where they are now compared to where they were last year at this time, and now that the confidence I have in them, I'm elated compared to where I was last year. Last year was a big question mark, right? This year, at least we know what we're getting moving forward.
I'm excited for the Senior Bowl. They get to coach the Senior Bowl. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But they got a bunch of quarterbacks that are playing in that game, wide receivers as well. Those are two things that you want to shore up for the next season, even though if it's a rookie quarterback, if you want to take a chance on one late in the first round, then you take a chance and let him sit behind Jared Goff and see where it goes. At worst, you got to improve off of Tim Boyle, right?
Well, that's a good thought too, and I think that's where coaching the Senior Bowl helps a little bit. You get to evaluate these guys. I mean, how many people coming out when it was Tua and Herbert thought that Herbert was this slam dunk, can't miss quarterback prospect that he ultimately turned out to be? Now, I don't know. I was calling for the Lions to draft Tua Tagovailoa that year.
They still would have done good,
but you never heard me say that they should draft Justin Herbert. And I don't know too many draft experts who said they should have drafted Justin Herbert either. But that's what Brad Holmes' job is now. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, everybody in that scouting department. You go see if one of these guys, and I don't think so, but I'm not a talent evaluator. I'm not a general manager in the NFL. I can give my opinion about it, but at the end of the day, it's up to these guys to do the due diligence to figure out if one of these 5 or 6 quarterbacks are a guy that can lead your organization for the next 10 to 12 years. I think Jared Goff was good enough at the end of the year to get another look
definitely
next year.
He improved big time.
And hopefully Dan Campbell goes out and gets an offensive coordinator that suits Jared Goff and whoever they ultimately draft.
Wouldn't it have been great had Brad Holmes been here 1 year earlier? Quinn and Patricia not taking Okudah and having Brad Holmes there picking at number, what was it, 3?
3. Yep.
If he had the choice at 3, he's not taking Okudah. He's going to take your quarterback. We would have had a quarterback here. At worst, we would have had enough interest in our draft picks that Miami would have had to move up or L.A. would have had to move up to get a quarterback. Because let's face it, when they signed the backup quarterback, and his name eludes me right now, the day before the draft, remember they signed that career backup quarterback? Chase Daniel.
To a big contract.
Right. So basically, the rest of the NFL said, well, the Lions aren't taking a quarterback at number 3, and Miami sat at 5, didn't have to move, and they got their guy, or they got a guy that they thought was going to be their guy. I would still be happy if Tua was here, to tell you the truth. He might not be a superstar, but he would have been a big upgrade.
To me, it's interesting because we watched this whole season play out, and what type of quarterback are they going to be looking for? Because the system that they ran this year, we don't really necessarily need to go after the Liberty quarterback that can run and
Malik Willis
and go really fast. And so I'm interested to see who they're looking at, because that's going to tell me where we're going to go offensively too. And that's something that's really sticking out to me this offseason. But to your point about Tua, I wasn't a big Tua guy. I didn't want him to draft Tua. I wanted them to trade back. That's really what I wanted them to do with that pick. And if we would have drafted Okudah at 5 or even trade back even further and got Okudah, I think the pressure would have been off him. It doesn't look as horrible as a draft pick.
Correct.
But that whole regime was set up for failure by the Ford saying this is a win now mentality.
Correct.
I'm not going to draft my future quarterback if I don't even know I'm not going to be there next year. Why would I do that? So they got kind of put in a weird position.
But they're idiots anyway.
I did like Herbert coming out, but if you remember, after Herbert and the big 3 were coming out, the knock on Herbert was he couldn't make the big throw, that he was inaccurate downfield, and we've seen anything but that in the NFL, and the kid is an all-star. He deserves to be in L.A. He looks like L.A.
Tua to me, you mentioned Tua. This guy's going to have another head coach. He's going to have another his third offensive coordinator. Yeah. You want to screw a guy's career? You want to mess up a guy's career? Have a quarterback have his third offensive coordinator in 3 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try that. So, I understand that Tua isn't the guy that everybody thinks
I still think he's a good guy.
I think he's a good player as well. But the Miami Dolphins, man, you better be careful with this next hire, because you want to screw up somebody's career. That's why Braylon and I, we always talk about, it's not when you get picked, it's where you get picked. What organization are you going to? Are you going to go to a team with a solid structure, a solid head coach, a solid offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator? Are you going to go to a good situation? Because if you go to a bad situation, man, there is no substitute for that. You could be in and out of the league, and 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, now that's not going to happen to Tua. He's not going to be out of the league, but he could be a career backup after a third offensive coordinator in 3 years.
Well, look at Mac Jones. There's a prime example that just happened this past year. He fell down into the draft into a perfect spot, a perfect spot for his skill set, the team that's already built around him. Because you put Mac Jones on the Bengals, you put him on any of these teams, you put him on the Jets this year or the Jags this year, he's not looking as good. He's looking like a bust, just like Trevor Lawrence did. So to your point, that's 100% correct. Like, you want to go where your skill set fits the system the most.
Look what the Chargers did in the last 2 years. Herbert, then Slater. So the Lions this year, when I was screaming, don't take Penei yet, although he's going to be superstar. You needed the player first. You needed that quarterback, or that defensive quarterback would have been Micah Parsons.
So does that tell you what the Jags are going to do at number 1?
Yeah,
Evan Neal.
They're probably going to take that kid from
tackle
Bama.
from Alabama.
Which is awesome, because everybody was worried about us blowing that
Right.
number 1 pick. We couldn't get the defender we want. Guess what? Both defenders are going to be there.
If you're Jacksonville, you got to protect the quarterback
Have to.
that you took number 1 overall last year.
I bet you they trade back, though.
You will hear from Lions general manager Brad Holmes talking about player acquisition, sticking to the plan, talking about the rookie class that really played nice. You're talking about 2 potential cornerstones of the franchise in Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown that they got. If they could get another 2 players like that this year, you're building something. I'd like more than that, but I mean, if you can get 2 of those guys, my goodness. So you'll hear from Brad Holmes coming up. We'll talk to Dave Birkett at 2:36, or about 24 minutes from now if you are not watching live. This is Hermione and Edwards, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Oh, the weekend is almost here, and you know what? We were just talking about our plans for this weekend, and my plan on Sunday is definitely sitting down, relaxing, and watching some playoff football, and that's going to come with a Gypsy in my hand, and I'm talking about Gypsy Vodka. If you haven't tried it, it's smooth, it goes with anything, and it goes with nothing, even if you want to drink it straight up, like Fish bought us a couple shots at the Michigan State pregame, and it was Gypsy, it was smooth, it was nice. So if you're looking for something to sip on, or you're looking for something to party on, there's only one thing to do. Pick up a bottle of Gypsy Vodka today, or if you're out and about, make sure you ask for it by name, and your bartender will pour it for you.
We're going to get guys that we love. And, you know, so you talk about first round Penei. Yes, he is what we thought he was going to be. And Penei is only going to get better. I mean, for what he was able to do, being a left tackle in college and opting out and he's coming in as a right tackle, and then Decker goes on, he goes to left, and Decker comes back and he goes back to right. And Mike, he's the youngest. I mean, him and Kyle Pitts were the youngest guys in the draft. So he's only going to get better. But then when you go down to the 4th round, he's still, you know, with St. Brown, he's still in that mold of he was who we thought he was going to be. You know, it's the same thing. Like, you can say, well, he's a 4th round pick. You're not expecting, but Amon-Ra, and I said it to you guys earlier after we drafted him, he reminded me of some of the guys that we had when I was back in L.A., and I believe that, you know, he showed that in his own way. He's a culture fit for what we're all about. But, again, I think everything just kind of clicked for him kind of late. But we always knew he had the intangibles in work ethic, and he's just a pro's pro in the way that he's wired, you know, that equated to a lot of his success on top of his physical ability.
I understand for many Lions fans, you're just kind of taking a wait-and-see approach. You've seen this song and dance before. You've seen general managers walk through that door. You've seen head coaches walk through that door, and it just has not equated to sustained success. But for me, and I'm just speaking for me here, I do feel really good about the direction of the organization. And they tore this thing down, they stripped it down, and now they are building it back up, and it starts with drafting players. If you look at these teams in the playoffs right now, sure, there's some good free agent acquisitions. Every team has them that's in the playoffs, but they build through the draft.
Yep.
And if you can get solid starters,
Except the Rams.
Well, you know, the
They
Rams
built through the draft.
Yeah, they
now
did.
they can't.
Yeah, they did build their team through the draft, and of course they, you know, have some studs as well that they got.
No,
through
but they
trades,
drafted Woods. They drafted Darnold. They drafted Goff, who took them to a Super Bowl. So they did it through the draft too.
But you get the point. I do feel really good about this team, this organization moving forward.
Well, I think Brad Holmes has built trust with us as consumers of the product, right? You know, we've had people come in, we've had GMs come in and blow picks, and you know, hindsight's always 20/20. Oh, we drafted Eric Ebron over Aaron Darnold. We should have never done that, obviously. But what Brad Holmes did this year is build trust. I now trust him with his job. And I haven't been able to say that about many front office people for the Detroit Lions my entire life, let alone anytime recently. So for him to build that trust this year, we know, all right, he did the right thing. I know you don't necessarily agree he did the right thing by drafting Penei Sewell.
Well, I know he's the right guy.
He is the right
guy. I didn't think at that point he was the right guy.
Okay.
That's all.
I thought him falling to us there was a gift from the heavens, and I'm so glad we took advantage of that. And if you go back and watch the footage during draft night, the people were asking about a wide receiver in the second round. He's like, I think our guy's going to be there later. And his guy was Amon-Ra St. Brown in the fourth round. So not only does he have a vision for what he wants, he understands the value and where these people are going to fall in the draft, which to me makes him invaluable. Because we could have drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in the second round and still been happy with his production.
Very much so.
But the fact of the matter is, he knew he could wait back, play his cards right, and evaluate people in the right way.
That's what we were talking about, I'd say a couple months ago. Remember when they weren't picking up any free agents? We were complaining here. You know, can we pick anybody up? They let Odell Beckham go, guys like that. We knew those guys weren't going to stay. Odell Beckham would have been a good pickup for us had he not reworked his contract to say, you know, the Browns' contract was over. He was going to play just the last 6-8 games with somebody and call it a day. But, you know, pass it up, guys, and then he finally gets Josh Reynolds after Ryan went on a tirade. Like 15 minutes after Ryan went on a tirade.
He was listening.
And they picked him up. And this is Brad Holmes now talking about sticking to the plan of who they're going to pick up and who they weren't going to pick up.
Hey, look, I love how the season ended, but, you know, the reality is we won 3 games, and that's not good enough, and it never will be. Dan and I, we're aligned in a vision and a plan, and from the very get-go, the big part of this plan was player development. And what we were totally in line with is, you know, we're going to let these guys play. You guys have heard me talk about it. You know, we're going to let these guys play. And a lot of it was by circumstances. You know, a lot of it, you know, we didn't have a choice at certain times. But I will say, when we got hit with adversity, you know, whether it be injuries or other stuff, you know, hey, look, I have let's call it a available free agent board with veterans that would have been available to come in and help. And no, we stuck with our plan, and we let these young guys play and get valuable experience. And, you know, at the end of the day, we did lay a good foundation.
Pouring that concrete, and of course Brad Holmes talking about, you know, sticking to a plan in player development, because if you look at the 32 teams in the NFL, 14 of them made the playoffs and 18 of them are out of the playoffs. 18 of those teams have worse rosters than the 14 that made them. You know, I mean, it's that. So you want to talk about coaches and this and that. Look at the players on the teams. The best players on the best teams make up the best players make up the best teams. They're in the playoffs right now. Now to go from good to great, show me a great quarterback. But you know, there's no good team that's out of the playoffs right now. that's sitting at home. Maybe Miami a little bit.
India's the only one I could think of.
India,
Ravens. I love the Ravens. Ravens were battered.
Well, they were injured.
And they were
battered.
stupid though.
Yeah.
They went for it twice, and they could have
it's
prolonged
not-
the game and won that
It's
game.
not stupid. That's just. I go with John Harbaugh.
And again,
And you're not in the playoffs
And
with
again,
John Harbaugh.
look though, Lamar Jackson didn't play 5 games.
Yeah.
The last 5 games. If Lamar Jackson plays 5 games, they're in the playoffs.
They will be next year, and they'll be trouble.
But you're talking about an elite quarterback.
They didn't have a running back the whole day.
Indianapolis's offensive line fell apart at
Right.
the end of the season. Jonathan Taylor couldn't get going. I mean, didn't do anything against Indianapolis. But the basic premise of my point is the better the players you have, the better chances you have of winning football games moving forward. And then ultimately, like I said, if you want to go from good to great, show me a great quarterback. There aren't too many Ryan Tannehills out there leading their teams to the #1 seed. I'm not a Ryan Tannehill guy, but he's probably...
He just hangs in there. He's still hanging. He's there, man.
So in terms of player development, here's Brad Holmes talking about the relationship with Dan Campbell and the job Dan Campbell did moving forward.
You add on Dan leading the charge, and Dan's he's been phenomenal. I can't say enough great things about him, the rest of the staff. So many great things I can say about Dan, but I'll just sum it up. He's got an it factor that you either have it or you don't, and he has that. And he's been a joy to work with. So it was very cool to see how hard these guys played. When things got bleak late in the year, practices and games, and I think that was a true testament for what we're about as an organization and our leadership. But again, I can't say enough. It's a gritty group, and excited about what's coming up.
Yeah, so that was always a unique relationship.
Right.
I feel like too how those two came together. Dan Campbell hired first, right, and then you just don't know how.
Hey, the word on the street was Brad Holmes, from what I understand, wanted Robert Saleh. That's all I'm saying. They got Dan Campbell. He wanted Robert Saleh. That's what I heard. And now Robert Saleh is coaching against Dan Campbell in the Senior Bowl. Jets and Lions.
Well, I mean, and the jury's still out on who won that one.
Right.
Because
I was just going to ask you that. Let me tell you.
Hey, it's 1 year.
It's 1 year, but you
Jets were tough. They had some bad
They
No,
games.
gave up
they
a lot.
weren't.
They gave up a lot.
No, they weren't. I'll give you a redo. Lions fans out there, if you want to hit us up on YouTube, I'll give you a redo. Stick, I'm going to ask you first.
Okay.
You could rehire the Lions head coach last year. Who you picking?
Urban Meyer, clearly.
But I'm saying Dan Campbell or Robert Saleh. If in fact what you're saying is true, Tom, that Brad Holmes wanted
That's
Robert
what I
Saleh.
said.
Am I knowing what I know now, or
Yes.
knowing what I know now, it's clearly Dan Campbell.
Yes.
Clearly, like 100% Dan
Not
Campbell.
even close.
Not even a doubt in my
Why?
mind that
Why?
it's Dan Campbell. Why?
Yeah.
Look at how the team performed throughout the year. Look at what
The Jets had a rookie quarterback.
Saleh's
A kid that didn't play.
No.
The Lions had a brand new system put in, a brand new quarterback. You have a brand new coach come in, and look at how they played. To me, it's about did they quit? And I can only count maybe 2 or 3 games this year: the Eagles, the Bengals, and
That's it.
Those are the only games I think the
Seahawks
Lions
scored a lot, but
the
they were in
Lions
that game.
gave up. Right?
Yeah.
That was the game when it was like, okay, the coach has lost his team. That's kind of what's going through my head during those games. But you watch any Jets game, they looked like
Not any.
Pretty much.
The Patriots owned them.
They
That was
looked
terrible.
like they just didn't want to be there. They weren't engaged, and
don't know about
Saleh
that.
prides himself on defense. I thought the Lions' defense had a much better year than the Jets' defense.
Well, Rex Ryan killed him, if you remember. Rex Ryan, mid-season, went after Robert Saleh, went after his defense, called him out, and those two had to have a little powwow just to get on the same page again. But Rex Ryan, a former Jets coach, now on ESPN on Get Up in the Morning, always great to hear, always one of my favorites. But he was very outspoken about Saleh and his defense.
I was high on Saleh.
I'm still high on Robert Saleh.
I thought he was great coming out of San Francisco. That's what I wanted here. But I really love the attitude that Dan Campbell, and obviously, we've spent a lot more time listening to Dan Campbell. You know, Corey's reporting from the press conference all the time. We're getting a more of a vibe feel from Dan Campbell than we ever have from Saleh. But yeah, today, as I sit here on this desk, 100% Dan Campbell, no question.
0-6 in the division, not as horrible as I thought.
Pretty tough division, by the way.
Division. Blown out twice against the Bills, though. I mean, the closest they came to the Bills was 17 points. Miami owned them. The Patriots owned them. 54-13.
The Patriots owned them for the last 21 years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Patriots outscored the Jets.
Yes, it was destruction.
This year. Hold on. I got to add.
It's in the hundreds.
79-19.
I thought it was 100.
79-19. The New England Patriots outscored the New York Jets. I mean,
they played with a rookie quarterback who got hurt. Then they played with Mike White. Then they played with Joe Flacco. Come on, man.
Don't
compare the two.
What are you talking about? We played with Tim Boyle.
Okay, you had a Super Bowl.
We played with backups too.
I didn't ask you. I want you to give me your answer. Would you rather Saleh over Campbell? Give that to me next. Armani and Edwards. Woodward Sports Network. Sorry.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
You want commercials? The other guys have those. You want great sports takes? Touchdown! What a play! Woodward Sports has those. Detroit's new sports outlet, the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. And if you notice my hair today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, are you kidding me? My hair has never looked, I'm 42 years old. My hair has never looked as good as it does today. Period. End of story. Full stop. Thanks to Becca, one of the fine stylists here at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in the Birmingham location. She took good care of me today, and that's what happens at every single location. And there's one near you as well. Several locations throughout the Metro Detroit area, several locations throughout the country. I think we're in 30 states now. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men all over, everywhere. Just walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee, baby. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Come on in. Lady Jane's wicked awesome.
Well, this is going to be the player acquisition phase, and like I said, we're going to start, we're going to coach the Senior Bowl. And like I was saying today, we're already started. Like we started, things that we started in February last year, we were able to start, at the beginning of the fall this year, just kind of getting ready for draft and free agency and all that stuff. So we'll start at the Senior Bowl. We'll get eyes on these guys. The roster looks good. I know back when I was with the Rams, we were able to acquire a lot of guys that played in the Senior Bowl in that game, and that guys that had success. And so there's a lot of gold to be found there at that game. But we'll attack that, and then we have a process and a phase, and we have the plans in place, and we'll take it phase by phase. But it'll start with this All-Star game in spring circuit.
And that was Brad Holmes talking about the process of how to improve this talent on the football team. And I think they are headed in the right direction. Stick, I will tell you, this Senior Bowl, the fact that they're coaching the Senior Bowl, I don't think should be understated. That's a real advantage for the Lions organization and the Jets organization. But before I have you weigh in on that, I asked Tom Mazaway a question that I want him to answer. I'm going to force you to answer right now, Mr. Mazaway.
Got him.
Seriously, what are you talking about? I'm trying to hear you here. Robert Saleh over Dan Campbell. You said that you heard, that he said, that she said, that they heard, that Robert Saleh was the preferred choice by one Brad Holmes.
And not only that, Robert Saleh would have walked here to take this job.
So I'm asking you, if you could do a redo would you hire Robert Saleh over Dan Campbell? I say no. Stick says no. You say what?
You're making me pick.
I'm making you pick.
After the year?
Yeah.
Yes.
With what we know now.
With what you know now, was it the right decision for the Lions organization to hire Dan Campbell over Robert Saleh?
I love Dan Campbell. And I love Robert Saleh, or Salah. I can't separate the two of them because they went to two separate different situations. We know more about Dan Campbell than most of us know about what Saleh had to go through in New York. I know New York's a tough place to play. Let me give you the Jets' record. Ready for this? This tells you what a loser I root for. 414 wins, 527 losses, 8 ties, playoff record of 12-13, and 1 Super Bowl win when they were in the AFL. So I root for a losing team. The Lions haven't won since 1957. The Giants haven't been relevant since early 2000s. So I've got my work cut out for me.
So which coach do you want to pull you out of that hole?
I'd keep Dan Campbell. But I love Robert Saleh, and I'm praying the Giants can finally get one right and go forward from there.
Well, we absolutely wish him all the best.
Of course.
We love Robert Saleh.
But if you're making me pick this year as it sits, although Saleh had a rookie quarterback and not a great roster.
Who the hell did Dan Campbell have?
Dan Campbell at least had a Super Bowl winning quarterback or Super Bowl participating quarterback. He had a good running back. He didn't have anybody on defense. I understand that. They both sucked. They both went into a bag of crap. That's what they went into, and they did the best they can.
D-back!
Oh, flag on the play.
Penalty. Darren McCarty. Boy, his hair looks good. He was just getting his hair did by the fine stylist here,
you guys
ladies.
knew Mac was there?
Well, see, I can see him through this window over here.
You didn't feel the stuff he was throwing at you from behind?
No, I didn't notice.
Who did you think he was?
I didn't know anyone was even in here.
Man, I just thought he was being attacked by some random person.
So that's my take. I got no take. I just know that Robert Saleh was going to come here, had Brad Holmes had an opportunity.
I just don't
to
see
pick.
Jets fans as on board as Lions fans at this point. You know, you look at Jets Twitter and all that stuff. They are not like champion their man like we do.
We're both scarred fan bases.
That's true.
And
I just gave you their record, right?
Yeah. I'd like to believe that our scars run a little bit deeper than theirs, just because they do have a Super Bowl win
In another league.
But they also have been to.
By the way, today's the anniversary of Super Bowl.
Let me tell you though, they also have had a couple of playoff wins in this century.
Right.
You know, they've been to the AFC Championship game this century twice. In fact, there's a gentleman who does this show every day with his name on the show that played twice for the Jets in the AFC Championship game playoffs. So I think the Lions fan base is a little bit more scarred.
We don't even have a Joe Namath moment.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't even have anything
Our
in our
moment was
history we
Barry.
can look back on.
Barry, 2,000 yards.
But what's the moment?
2,000 yards against the Jets.
Yeah, but
Happened
is
against the
that
Jets.
replayed constantly on ESPN? Did that make him a bigger-than-life celebrity? No, it
We
didn't.
just had our anniversary of the 1993 playoff, 1992 playoff win.
Yeah,
We
that's
just had
great.
that. And the
But that's not
1993
iconic
wild
like
card
the
game.
Jets have. That's what I'm saying. Like, Joe Namath is iconic. We don't have that. We have guys that were considered the best, but weren't really considered icons.
Let me ask you guys this. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Did you have something?
I do. I just wanted to give you. I gave you the Jets record. Mm-hmm. Here's the Lions record: 570 wins, 694 losses, 34 ties, 7-13 in the playoffs.
That sounds like the same winning percentage.
No Super Bowl appearances in 92 seasons.
That sounds like about the same winning percentage in the regular season.
That's pretty gross.
In the chat, they're saying the Jets have 12 playoff wins. Checkmate.
Yeah, right.
Like, the Jets got it better than us.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys this because, as we're talking about the Jets organization, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, if you look at the last place teams in the NFL, I'm talking about the Jets, the Ravens, Jacksonville, Denver, the Giants, the Lions, the Panthers, and the Seahawks. I think we would all agree that the Baltimore Ravens organization as a last place team is by far and away more equipped to get good quickly and compete for a Super Bowl because of the quarterback that is on their roster and the head coach and the general manager. I mean, they have everything in place But outside of the Baltimore Ravens, is there a better last-place team in the NFL that has a better situation right now than the Detroit Lions?
Situationally, maybe not. Like, 'cause I would go to Seattle. Like, I would say that just because they kicked our, this
I understand
year.
that, but there's questions about Pete Carroll coming back. There's questions about Russell Wilson coming back.
But that's why I was saying, like, where they're going.
There's questions about their cap.
Where they're going, I'm not really sure about Seattle. I do think Detroit is probably the best out of all those if I'm buying stock in any of those teams right now.
I'm very high on the Lions, but that's been a problem of mine for
Love the Kool-Aid.
Hey, did the Browns finish in last?
The Browns did not finish in last. The Baltimore Ravens, by virtue of the tiebreak, finished in last.
Ravens by far.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know that. They're the best non-playoff team out there.
Yeah.
By far.
No doubt.
They're better than the Steelers, by
Guys,
the way.
we're going to talk to Dave Birkett, Lions beat writer from the Detroit Free Press. You can catch him at freep.com. Lots of great content over there. We'll talk to him next. Armani and Edwards, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Armani, Stick, Sam Day in the chair for Braylon today. Tom Mazaway is with us as well. Braylon will be back tomorrow. We'll certainly be looking forward to that. In the meantime, we are going to talk a little Lions now. We'll do so with Dave Birkett, Lions beat writer, Detroit Free Press. You can catch him at freep.com, also on Twitter at Dave Birkett. Dave, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for the time.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Ryan? How are you?
Baby.
How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Dave, let me hit you with something we were just talking about, just in terms of the structure of the Lions organization. I am a believer, and I understand if Lions fans aren't ready to go there yet until they see wins and all that stuff. But it seems to me that from the top down, at least organizationally, this team is in good hands moving forward. You're a guy that's seen many of these coaches walk in and out of that door, many of these general managers walk in and out of that door. How would you assess where the Lions are in terms of organizational structure moving forward?
Yeah, I'm as optimistic as I've been probably, I think back to 2011, right, the start of that season when they started 5-0. When coming off how they finished the year before, they had a young quarterback in Stafford. But since then, I don't know that I've been higher, and obviously that one didn't turn out so well. But, they had a couple good years there. I like what Dan Campbell has done. I think, I wrote this the other day, when you've been in the NFL long enough, you've been around, you've seen enough fake to know what real is, and I think Dan Campbell is real, and that goes a long way in the locker room, and players certainly appreciate that, and I know there's a lot of people in that organization that wholeheartedly are believers in Dan Campbell, and the wins weren't there this year, and they have to start winning. There's no doubt about that, but and they need to get some more pieces, I think, on both sides of the ball. But I really do like the direction that this ship is pointed right now.
In terms of Dan Campbell, what do you think he learned this year, Dave? I mean, one of the things we talk about is all going for it on fourth down. We were sitting there watching the game on Sunday, and we're like, all these trick plays are nice when you're losing and you're trying to hang in the game and going for it, a NFL record 41 times on fourth down. It's all great when the games really don't matter. They don't mean anything. Do you think that's the kind of coach he will be moving forward when they do get good? You look at a guy like Brandon Staley. I mean, they're like the riverboat gambler over there.
Yeah, Staley, I think the Chargers broke the Lions' record for fourth down conversions on Sunday night.
They did.
After the Lions said it. So crazy. No, I think Dan will still be the aggressive coach that we've seen, and on fourth downs going for it. I think that is part of his nature, and I do think that, for whatever people wanted to say and joke about with the kneecaps and football guy and whatever, like he believes in that stuff. And coming from New Orleans, where that was a big part of what Sean Payton did and factored into his decision making, I think you will continue to see the Lions be aggressive going forward on fourth downs. They probably don't need to run quite as many fake punts and onside kicks and do some of those things. When you get good and you have a good enough team that you can really hang with anyone in the NFL, you don't need to manufacture extra possessions like that. But I don't think Dan's going to change who he is one bit, and I think that means we'll continue to see aggressive decision making on his part.
Hey, Dave, it's Stick. Thanks for joining us today. And obviously, you've covered the Lions for many years. You've been through many seasons of ups and downs. This is only a 3-win
mostly
season.
Downs.
Yeah, mostly downs.
Mostly,
so,
yeah.
not many ups. But this was only a 3-win season. But it seemed like at the end or midway through the season, this just became more fun for the fans to watch. Did it become more fun for writers to cover?
I think that's a good question, because I think from the beginning it was a little more fun to cover, right? Just based on who Dan is and some of the, the color, he was able to provide, and not just him, that trickles down, right? When your head guy is loose and honest, and I think that allows everyone underneath him to be honest and be themselves too, and so I do think that made it a little more fun. I'll say this though, like it's so much better covering a winner than it is a loser. That's just people are easier to deal with. There's a lot less hiding that goes on, right? I think there's better stories in some ways, so. Because there's so many people contributing to wins. So maybe in that regard it did. And I'll tell you what, if this was a different year, right, if we were in the locker room and able to talk to everyone and you could see people around all the time, I think then, I'd be able to say that without a doubt. But COVID times, so we're still sort of at arm's length from everyone, in the organization and especially the players.
Dave Birkett joins us, the Free Press, a Lions beat writer, long time, friend of the show. Dave, this is way early. It's draft talk. I love bringing up the draft. You haven't even put out your first mock draft yet, but I know it's coming. But the Senior Bowl's coming February 5th. It's the Jets coaching staff and the Lions coaching staff. And supposedly you could trade players now on the squads, if I'm not mistaken. There's some new wrinkles to the Senior Bowl. What I wanted to talk about is there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks there, a bunch of wide receivers. Who do you think the Lions are going to be looking at in those first 3 picks?
Because, look, I am still of the belief that the Lions, for them to have sustainable long-term success, they need to find a quarterback, right? Like Jared Goff played well the second half of the season, and I've said it all along. He was never a 3-win quarterback, right? I think he's better than that, but I also don't know that, he's the guy that's taken you to Super Bowls annually. In fact, I'm just grabbing this off my desk right here because I wrote this down the other day. I didn't end up writing it. Okay, so there's 9 quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls that are not, in the Hall of Fame or will not be in the Hall of Fame, right? And we can probably, I guess maybe 11 of 55 when you include the guys that aren't quite eligible yet. But so to me, you can find them and you can get there without them, but 80% of the quarterbacks that win Super Bowls are Hall of Famers, and so that's why I say that. That's why I didn't. I thought the Lions shouldn't settle when Matthew Stafford was the guy, and they shouldn't settle now that Jared Goff is a guy as well as he's played. I still think it's hard to find, but I still think for you to be that perennial Super Bowl contender, and that's what everyone wants to be, you need to find that guy. So to answer your question, Maz, those quarterbacks are really going to be the ones that I am looking at, and I think the Lions will be looking at closely, at the Senior Bowl, and they get to work with 3 of them. And if I'm guessing, one guy that they really want to see, Kenny Pickett, he's probably the first one that goes, but, I don't think you're taking him at 2, and he's probably gone by the time you're picking with the Rams pick. Like, Sam Howell, to me, is an intriguing guy who might be around when the Lions are picking somewhere late round 1, early day 2, because first-round talent, everyone thought he was at coming into the season. Didn't have a great year, but they lost so much on that team. I watched him a little bit on TV. I thought he was a decent player when I saw him. So I think he would be a guy that, if I was the Lions and I got to make those trades or sort of pick my roster, he'd be a guy I definitely want to get my hands on. It's a good quarterback class there too. The kid from Nevada, Carson Strong, is a talented player. He's got some injury stuff that, we'll see how that impacts his draft status. Malik Willis, obviously a lot of talk about him going into the year. I know when I talked to Dan last year, he said mobility was important for him at that quarterback position. So that's another guy raw that I think the Lions would like to get their hands on. But if I was the Lions and I could only get one guy via trade or whatever, Sam Howell would be the guy that I would want to, take a real close look at.
Stick is shaking his head like a bobblehead. I mean, he's got Mitch Trubisky-itis here, I think.
No, it has nothing to do with
Carolina.
Mitch Trubisky. Listen, Sam Howell had two of the most premier NFL-ready running backs on his roster last year. And to me, that's what really elevated him into the spotlight. And then you saw when you took those pieces away this year, it's tough sledding for Sam Howell without Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. That's my only holdback on there. But you didn't mention Riddler. That's one guy.
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter. Yeah. No, I mean, he's another guy that I think he's in the same boat as Sam Howell, like in terms of where they're probably going to go in the draft. You know what I mean? Like the Pickett thing, the only reason I didn't say him is because, again, I think at number 2, you're probably taking one of those defensive ends, right? Like one of those pass rushers, throw in the Alabama offensive tackle, the Notre Dame safety. I mean, those are probably the best prospects in the draft, at least, the early read on it. And so I don't think the Lions are going to overdraft a quarterback when you have Goff and when there's so much uncertainty, but I think Ritter's a guy that's in that first round mix, and so he would sort of be right in that Sam Howell area for me. It's just Howell's a guy that I've been a little intrigued by, and
I've been wrong before, man.
Dave,
Don't worry.
Dave, I got to ask you. I'm so intrigued by this quarterback situation, Kenny Pickett. Like, I don't believe in whatever. I don't believe the Lions are taking Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson at number 2. Like, I don't. I watched that national championship game, Dave. Some of these defensive players out there were freaking wrecking balls that changed franchises. I don't think either of those guys is that.
You like Jordan Davis?
I love Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
I love Nakobe Dean. Like, I know you need a partner to trade back, and we say it every year. But is there ever a year to trade back to a 7, to a 10, to maybe get one of those guys?
I mean, I just don't know that anyone's coming up.
I know.
This year. I mean, look, this is 100% right that this is the draft where there's not an elite quarterback up top. I mean, none of these pass rushers, no one has ever thought they were Myles Garrett. This is not a generational pass rushing talent that's up top. Doesn't mean they're not going to be very good players, but someone gave me like a Chris Long comp for Aiden Hutchinson, which good player, really good player, but Chris Long's not a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
Not the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, and he might have went 2 or something like that. He was pretty high. But when you're picking that high, that's sort of what you hope to get. Myles Garrett, Von Miller, guys like that just have that sort of impact. And so I don't know that either Thibodeau or Hutchinson will be that, but I do think they can be very good NFL players. And I went back and watched that Georgia game, and I wrote about it on Freak.com, and I thought I was not dissuaded by Hutchinson's performance. I thought Georgia took him out of the game with its game plan. I thought he still did some good things. Everyone wants to point to that, the block when he got pancaked, and he wasn't perfect by any means, but I like Aiden Hutchinson as a player. I definitely think he'll be in the mix for the Lions at 2.
No doubt. Hey, Dave, you got a couple more minutes for us? Can I take a 30-second break here? All right, 30-second break. More with Dave Birkett next. Want to ask about the Lions' next offensive coordinator. Is Dan Campbell going to continue to call the plays? What's he looking for in an offensive coordinator? And what about free agency? How are the Lions going to get good quickly? Armani and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network, right back.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Right back with Dave Birkett on Woodward Sports Network. Dave, and we certainly appreciate your time here. Follow Dave on Twitter at Dave Birkett. Also, check him out in the Freep on Freep.com and subscribe to the Freep, to the news, to your local newspapers. Keep local journalism going. Absolutely, I do as well. Dave, I'm not going to let go of this quarterback thing just quite yet. Kenny Pickett, if the Lions cannot trade out of that pick, and they have identified Kenny Pickett as the clear-cut number one quarterback in this draft. Is that something you could see them pull the trigger on and take Kenny Pickett at 2?
Well, I don't, let me be real clear that I have no idea what the Lions would do right now or what direction they're going or leaning or anything like that. I just, and that includes at the quarterback position. I do think the Lions will do absolutely, every last bit of diligence they need on all these quarterbacks at the top, because that's such an important position. And for as well as Goff played, there still are questions, long term there. So if they decide that Kenny Pickett is a franchise type quarterback, a guy that they can, win with long term, not be on that list of 11 non-Hall of Famers, the Jim McMahons and Phil Simms and those sort of guys that won Super Bowls, but be one of those Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's and those Hall of Famers that did, then you take them, and it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 or 20 or whatever, you do what you can to take that guy. Now again, I don't know that the Lions will come to that decision or anyone will come to that decision, and that's why I say I don't see them forcing the quarterback position, and I don't think they have to with the way that Jared Goff played, but I do think they need to continue to do all their homework on that spot, because that's still a long-term need in my opinion.
So speaking of doing homework, obviously Brad Holmes has proven to us this year that we can trust him with the draft picks. We know Dan Campbell, when he gets those players in camp, he's going to develop them. But a name that I feel that has kind of been washed out throughout this entire season, and which may be a good thing that he's not in the forefront, Chris Spielman. I think a lot of us have been not really paying attention to what Chris Spielman has been doing behind the scenes and the culture that he's leading. With your experience and being closer to the team than clearly I am, how is the Chris Spielman tripping down into everybody else, his mentality, just the way he is? Because I feel like Dan Campbell and Chris Spielman are almost linked in this a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris's biggest impact was defining what the Lions wanted / needed, in this rebuild, and then leading them to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes in some way. I think Mike Disner was the guy that really put, Holmes in front of them, but sort of defining that. This is Dan Campbell's show now, right? And Brad Holmes being the talent evaluator. So I don't know that Chris is like, the guy that's really like leading this charge anymore. I mean, he's on the field every day as sort of a linebackers coach helping out, and he's certainly involved in different areas of the organization. But this is not, it's not like Chris is the, behind the scenes, with the puppet strings there. This is
so
Dan
he's not
Campbell.
Oz.
This
it's
is
not
Dan
Wizard
Campbell
of Oz.
production. No, this is, I mean, again, I think, Chris was in terms of getting the ball rolling and, helping them find Dan Campbell. There's no doubt that Chris was leading that charge, but, and I don't know, maybe he will come back to the forefront, and that's my one concern with this Lions regime, is that there are so many people that could be in a position of power, right? Rod Wood, Mike Disner, Chris Spielman, right, along with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. So I worry that at some point, win or lose, maybe there will be too many cooks in the kitchen. But for right now, this is a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes production.
Hey, Dave, look back at the last draft class. Take it from Penei Sewell all the way down to Jamar Jefferson. How would you give you a grade now after seeing all of these players? Onwuzurike, Barnes, the works. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah.
No, I wrote that this morning. It'll probably go up tomorrow morning on Freep.com. Just sort of a rookie recap, I guess, of everything they've done. Look, they started 10 different rookies this year, and that includes the undrafted guys, and they got, really contributions far and beyond what anyone could have expected from guys like St. Brown and Jerry Jacobs and AJ Parker even. I think it's a very good rookie class for the Lions that absolutely will be foundational in some ways. I mean, Penei Sewell he's always going to be compared to Micah Parsons and Mac Jones and Justin Fields, and so if one of those guys goes on to become a star, I'm sure Lions fans will say, what did we do? But Penei Sewell was exactly what the Lions wanted and needed, and he really has solidified this offensive line as an enormous strength. So they hit on number one. I don't think anyone has any questions about what St. Brown can be now. He's a very good receiver, whether he's a number one down the road or whatever. He did a lot of things for this team this year. Aleem McNeil is, maybe he doesn't have as high a ceiling as some other guys because of the position he plays, but I think he's a very good player. Jerry Jacobs, before he got hurt, looked like he was going to be a contributor for a long time in that secondary. So I think if you go into a draft saying you want to get 2 starters out of it and a couple role players, the Lions have exceeded that. The big question, to me, is Levi Onwuzurike, second-round pick. You want to see that player develop a little bit more and that pick develop a little bit more. Not writing him off by any means. He had the back injury that kept him out early this year and didn't play football last year for COVID reasons. So there's still a lot of development ahead. But that's the one thing, I guess, that would stop short of making this class, a grand slam, is they didn't get much out of that second-round pick this year, and really trading up for Derek Barnes, they didn't get a lot of that out of that pick either.
Talking to Dave Birkett, Lions beat reporter for Freep.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Dave Birkett as well. Dave, I want to ask you about Dan Campbell, what he's going to do at OC. Does he plan on calling plays next season? What role does he see the offensive coordinator playing with this organization next year?
Yeah, that's to be determined. I mean, he said the other day that he's still weighing his options there, and the primary option being, whether he wants to continue calling plays or not. And so that's something that he's going to have to figure out before he hires someone. If he does hire someone, and there will be an offensive coordinator, but if he hires someone to call plays, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Ben Johnson. I mean, I think Ben Johnson, everyone in the organization has talked highly about the job that he did since taking over as really the pass game coordinator midway through the season. I could see, him having some sort of elevated title next year as pass game coordinator if he is not calling plays. But that's really what Dan has to decide. Look, I think it's tricky for a head coach to call plays. You can sort of leave some other things that you need to devote lots of attention to. Maybe you don't give them quite the attention they need, and so I think that's what Dan has to be careful about. But he did have a positive impact on the offense this year and on Jared Goff, and so that's definitely on the table of him continuing to call plays.
Hey, Dave, what's the plan for Jeff Okudah?
See where he comes back at next year, I guess, right? I mean, I don't think the Lions have given up on him at cornerback. I think he'll still be in the mix there. Obviously, I know I've gotten feedback on Twitter and whatnot, like, I'll move this guy to safety. He's coming back from an Achilles. We'll see, but he's more valuable as a cornerback if he hits there. And even though I know he gave up the one long pass to the Steelers in the preseason and then another one in the first preseason game, he really did have a good camp. So I think the Lions were maybe more high on him than the fan base was, and again, the Lions were the ones seeing him every day. So I'm going to side a little bit with him there. But that being said, a ruptured Achilles, that's a tough thing to come back on, especially for a cornerback. So there's really no telling what he's going to be when he gets back on the field. If I'm guessing right now, I think it's Amani Oruwariye, and Jeff gets a chance. He's probably going to miss a lot of the offseason, but Jerry Jacobs, if he's back, I don't know how ready he'll be for training camp, and then Melifanu, who's the other guy that'll be in the mix. I think they need to add somebody, a vet that can be a stopgap or someone relatively high in the draft to sort of complete that cornerback room.
Here's my hope question, and it's sort of hard because you don't know who's going to be on this team next year, all that good stuff. But in 17 of the last 19 years, we've seen a team go from worst to first in the following year. A lot of people will say that's going to be the Baltimore Ravens this year. They finished last, maybe next year, maybe whatever.
They will win.
This was a 6-year coaching hire for Dan Campbell. So many people believe this was such a long stretch, long road to get good. Can this team compete for a playoff berth next year? Is it still 2 years away? I mean, I look at the schedule. They could have very easily won 6 games this year. I mean, a play here and a play there. I mean,
66-yard field goal falls short.
I mean, if you really go through it, they could have won 6, maybe even 7 or 8 games if you want to count 7. The Chicago game where they lost by 10, but they had the ball inside the 10-yard line 3 times, came away with 0 points.
Well,
I mean,
look, They won 3. They lost 3 on the last play of the game on field goals. They lost that Chicago game that you referenced, and they tied the Steelers.
Yeah.
So I will say that they can compete for a playoff spot next year, not knowing what's going to happen, because I don't think the NFC.
There's that Kool-Aid.
Say it again, baby.
Listen. I'm not saying they're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
But,
It's official. Dave Birkett said
it. And frankly, I would be a little disappointed when you look at the Lions' schedule next year if they're not in that mix, right? They play the Jets and the Giants and the Panthers and the Jaguars, and you look at all those. I mean, the worst teams in the NFL this year are on the Lions schedule next year, and of course, those teams are saying the same thing. Well, we get to play the Lions, yeah. So that's a win for us. But if you're the Lions and you truly believe in what's going on, then yeah, there's no reason you don't look at that schedule. Plus 2 games against Minnesota and Chicago, teams that will have new coaches and clearly be in some sort of rebuilding mode, and who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I think I would be disappointed if the Lions weren't at least in contention next year. To me, I don't know that 2022 is a year they make the playoffs. I think that's a step forward year, but I also think 2023 is probably the defining year, because that's when the schedule gets tougher again. That's when you're one more year into the rebuild. That's when you should really start seeing fruits from this rebuild.
I think we got to end on that hope. I think we got to end on that hope. I mean, that's just gorgeous.
Plus, Dave's got to pick up his kids.
Dave, thanks, my man.
I probably got a little time, but
that's all right.
I got you,
Dave. Thanks so much. We certainly appreciate your time. Hope to do it again soon. Follow Dave on Twitter.
Thanks, Dave.
At Dave Birkett. Read him in the Free Press, freep.com. Great Lions content there. One of the best around. So we certainly appreciate it. Dave Birkett. Thanks, buddy.
You got it, guys. We'll see you.
You got it. Man. Had to end on that one.
That's good.
I had to end on that one.
Feels good.
Yeah,
feels good.
Look, I think so many times
playoffs.
I am a homer. I am very hopeful. I think Dave, for the most part, Dave is a really guy that looks at this thing from a 30,000-foot view, and he takes emotion out of it and covers the team.
Right.
So it feels good to hear, some of those things that we think. Yeah, that they are possible.
The good thing is when we're doing a show like we do, you get to see who we're talking to. You get to see his facial expressions.
Right.
It's not. You don't see a guy behind the phone rolling his eyes. I can tell he's on board, man.
Yep.
He's on board.
Absolutely. Great stuff there. So, guys, we can react to anything that Dave said if you want. Also, some big news in college football. We'll get to that as well. Armani and Edwards, the Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brad Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets, daily on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor, and the place I put my sports wagering in. If you're a first-time sports gambler, MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.com is the place for you. Make sure you use the promo code Woodward. It's easy. Woodward doubles your money. Your first deposit double all the way up to $1,000. Put 100 in, get 100 more. Put 1,000 in, get 1,000 more. NFL Wild Card Weekend, Super Wild Card Weekend, starting on Saturday. 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then the first ever Monday Night Football playoff game. That's the Rams and the Cardinals. Man, you can make some money this weekend. So get on it. MyBookie.ag, the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please call the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Fantastic stuff from Dave Birkett there, LionsWriterFreep.com. Lots of Lions talk, and if you missed any part of that conversation, we invite you to go back to our YouTube channel, and you can watch that for yourselves. And, of course, anywhere podcasts are found, we are there. ready to be heard, if you will. So plenty of good stuff there. Ryan Armani, Sam Day, stick in the house for Braylon today. Braylon will be back tomorrow. Tom Mazaway along as well. Gentlemen, happy hour number 2.
Amen, man.
That was
a
a quick
fun
first hour. That
right?
was a quick first hour. And we got Fish in the sound booth today as well. We get Fish on Wednesdays now.
Wednesday is not Prince Spaghetti Day.
That's
it's Fish
right.
Day.
It is Fish Day. Fish,
like
how you
custody.
doing in there?
We get custody.
Did you enjoy that interview with Dave Birkett?
Yeah, I thought it was a great interview. You guys do a great job with the whole show, so I'm not worried about if interviews go bad because they never will. So.
Very good.
We thought the interview went well.
The emotional support, Fish.
Very good.
You guys ask good questions, and no.
Look, I
no
love
shocker.
Sam. Sam's our guy now in the booth, but man, do I miss Fish.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of the things about what Dave Birkett was talking about, too, with the Detroit Lions is, think about where we were 8 weeks ago, okay, like midway through the season.
Ready to jump the cliff.
Ready. And I'll raise my hand. I was ready to be the leader of the cliff diving or the Dan Campbell diving. Get rid of everybody, start over, sell the team. I was ready to lose my mind with this organization.
Right.
And then slowly but surely you start seeing it. Brick by brick by brick by brick by brick. A foundation being laid. And I hate to use these cliches because nobody here in Detroit wants to hear any of this stuff. Or maybe they do. I don't know. You get enough negativity down the road. But I just have to be honest with you and tell you how I feel about this team. And I feel really good about this team and this organization moving forward. That is a total 180 from where I was 8 weeks ago.
And to me, the turning point was Dan Campbell taking over the play calling. Like, that showed not only beyond leadership that in your first year you're willing to punt a veteran play caller.
Perfectly said.
And you are now taking over those reins. But when he took over those reins, there were a couple games of, oh, God, this didn't get any better. We're not doing what he said he was going to do. But then you started to see the creativity come out. And then you started to see the guys having a little bit more fun, playing with more energy. And the way we ended the season, I mean, when Goff was healthy and Dan Campbell was calling the plays, I believe we were 3-1-1. That's a dangerous combination moving forward if we can get a healthy Goff, a creative play caller, and our offensive line is still going to be good. We still got the running backs. If we figure out a wide receiver 1 position, hopefully an Allen Robinson or somebody like that comes in. But to me, that was the turning point of the season because he saw the same thing we were seeing. And he put his foot down, which a lot of guys may have just been like, yeah, okay, everybody expects us to lose. We'll wait to the end of the season to address this. I like how he attacked it midseason.
I'll tell you, as a Giants fan growing up, the Giants were at the pits of despair in the late 70s. The miracle of at the Meadowlands when Joe Pisarcik fumbled the ball with no timeouts for the Eagles, no nothing. All they had to do was kneel down, and Herm Edwards picks it up and runs it in. I was at that game. And the next game, the Giant fans were outside Giant Stadium, and they were burning their tickets. Instead of going in the stadium, in the parking lot, they all gathered and burned their season tickets.
Nowadays, you got to burn your phone.
Wellington Mara had seen enough, and he went out and he hired a general manager named George Young. Took him from the 1972 Dolphins. Took him to unbeaten season. Brought George Young in. George Young brings in Bill Parcells. Ray Perkins, then Bill Parcells. I pray that Dan Campbell is the Lions' Bill Parcells because he put the Giants on the map. And they've fallen off recently really bad. I think they should bring him back. He's 80 years old. I'd still make him the president of the Giants. But this Dan Campbell, he really does remind me of Bill Parcells. He truly does.
A nicer Bill Parcells.
Well, maybe he doesn't remind me of Bill Parcells. I like the way Bill does it.
The fire reminds you of it, like that football guy.
Absolutely. That's what we all dreamed of when he came.
Right.
And remember, they made fun of him. Colin Cowherd called him Fred Flintstone.
Right.
Barney Rubble. Now, the day after they beat the Packers, Colin Cowherd's out there saying, I made a mistake. This guy can coach.
If you look at some of the guys chatting on the YouTube chat right now, YT Sparty, if the Lions kill it in the draft and trades, they could make the playoffs. Why not? Arthur Fonzarelli says, don't forget the division.
Hey.
Right. Love that name. Don't forget about the division. I mean, look, Green Bay still in flux. They went all in on this season, especially with their salary cap. Are they going to be able to re-sign Davante Adams next year? And if I think Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers are a package deal. They're going somewhere, whether it's to Denver or Pittsburgh or something like that. Will they stay in Green Bay? I don't know. If they do, obviously that's the class of the division. But then you look at Minnesota, new coach, new general manager.
Right.
Chicago, new coach, new general manager. A new quarterback in Minnesota, most likely. So I do think the Lions, if you look at this division, they could do some damage in addition to that weak schedule next year. And again, those other teams are saying, hey, we could pick off the Lions next year too. But
it's crazy. You look at Dan Campbell, he's now the second longest tenured coach in the NFC North, right? And then on top of that, you look around the division and you look at previous coaches. Dan Campbell had 2 division wins this year. Matt Patricia, I don't think, had one in his entire tenure here.
I think he had one, maybe?
Maybe, right? Maybe. But this was year 1, picking up 2 division wins, and then your third win is against the Cardinals, who at that time were streaking. They were doing well.
2 of their 3 wins are against teams in the playoffs now, and they're tied.
Right. Oh, and the 2 of the 3 wins came against teams that were 5 games over 500, which had never happened in Stafford's whole year, 12 years
Think about that.
Speaking of Stafford, how about a Rams-Lions playoff next year? That's what Patty Grimes wants on our YouTube channel.
Patty,
I would have to punch so many people in Detroit, though. That's the problem, because so many people still love Stafford. They'd be rooting for him. And I'd be like, what are you doing?
I know. I can't help myself.
No, I love Stafford. Good guy, great family. Kelly's awesome. Supported the network when we got going. But he's out there now. It's like he's your ex. But
Are you
just
rooting
let him
for
be
him
out
this
there.
week?
No.
I'm not either.
I want the draft pick.
I don't know why I'm not.
I can't root against him.
I think I'm rooting against him just because I think every pick that deep matters.
Yes.
You know, if the Rams lose, they're sitting at 26. The Lions will get that 26th pick. If the Rams win, then it just jumps up from there to 28. Then potentially 30, then potentially 32 if they go on and win the whole thing.
And also, I don't want to hear it from the Stafford slappies. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
You want to
If
see
he
him win one playoff game?
No.
I don't, because...
Why?
I feel terrible for him.
Why?
That's why.
He had every chance to win 2 while he was here. He was in the playoffs twice. Actually,
3 times.
3 times. 5 minutes left against the Cowboys. We had the ball, a chance that, he had every opportunity to do all those things here. He just didn't do it.
I got nothing against Matt Stafford. And the reason I'm rooting against Matt Stafford has nothing to do with him.
Right.
And everything to do with the fact that the Rams' success or lack thereof this season, every game now moving forward, is directly tied to the Lions pick that they own. The regular season is over, can't do anything about it, but the minimum they could do is 26. If they lose this week, they'll be 26. And then if they win, it jumps up 2 every time from there. Jumps up 2. Another win, jumps up to 28. Another win, jumps up to 30. I'm sorry, Matt. I love you, but I love the Lions more. And
I don't think us rooting against or for him means anything.
Oh, no.
No, of course not. But
it should be a fun game on Monday Night Football.
Hey, speaking of fun, college football, the schedule gods have shined upon the great city of Ann Arbor.
And East Lansing.
And East Lansing to a certain extent, sure. But they have. Well, let's talk about the new updated schedule from the Big Ten.
Kalamazoo, too.
Armani and Edwards, the bottom line, Woodward Sports Network.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, gang! I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac, located in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. How many people out there are excited for the all-new electric Chevy Silverado? Show hands. Get it, baby. Les Stanford.
I just want to swap my Equinox.
You can do that as well. Do it. And you didn't even have that for a year. They'll take that off their hands for you.
Right.
Get it. That all-new Chevy Silverado, the electric one. Man, Les Stanford's going to have a huge allocation when that thing comes out. And get in line at Les Stanford Chevrolet.
Ask for Weston.
Ask for Weston. Ask for any of them guys.
Chevy Will.
Ollie Rita.
Chevy Will. Ollie Rita. Devin Taylor.
Devin
Get it,
Taylor.
man. All right.
Former
Chevy.com.
Lion.
Reservations for the all-new electric Chevrolet. Available now. Open now. Chevy.com. Chevy.com. Get in line at Les Stanford. Call him today, 313-565-6000, 313-565-6000, or online, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Find
New roads.
new roads, baby.
Get those charging ports ready.
Get them.
Find a place for
Get
the
'em.
garage.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Where's my... I got it somewhere. Got it. Very good. The Big Ten released an updated, reworked schedule for the upcoming 2022 season. Can we throw that up there, if you will? What am I looking at? I'm just kidding.
Like the game memory.
This is
Ooh, I like this.
This is a little bit deeper of a dive of a schedule. If you could see Michigan
Did
and
you
Michigan
find this,
State,
Maz?
I mean, that is.
Bro, we have the Michigan schedule on its own.
Okay, let's do
Let's
that.
do that.
Actually,
I just wanted to show you everybody.
I know, but I think people get overwhelmed.
There you go.
Okay, there's the Michigan football schedule.
This is digestible.
Can I tell you? I like a good line schedule. I can't tell this schedule.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to line
Yeah.
up?
Michigan
Oh,
State
That's
did a nice
mad.
job.
That's
How about
mad.
that?
Yeah.
That's all mad.
Michigan
That's what I
State.
want.
How about that?
Michigan State's graphic department
Yep.
on
Much
point.
better.
Thank you.
That's all mad.
Michigan State's social media
Yeah.
is
Top
second
notch.
to none.
Oh,
It
okay.
truly is.
Top notch.
That's what I want to see. No
Best in
offense.
the country.
Michigan State's schedule is much more readable
Yep.
to me.
Okay,
It's all coming.
Go back to that.
They got to keep it simple for the Michigan State
Go
kids.
back
Yeah,
to that Michigan.
exactly.
I mean, which one is Colorado? And then is it Colorado week 1, Penn State
Colorado
week
State.
2?
Colorado State.
State week
Yeah,
1, Penn
Hawaii.
State week 2.
Hawaii week 2.
Hawaii. It's
See?
it's just
It's
across.
linear.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
across the board.
I know. I'm just being facetious there, but it's not as easy to tell.
I'm
but
sorry,
anyway,
Ryan. I'll
here you
just
go.
print them out for you next time.
Colorado State,
Win.
State, Hawaii,
Win.
UConn.
Should have played at
Win.
Hawaii.
Those are your 3 non-conference games. Okay,
are nice.
3 non-conference games. And then they open up the Big Ten season at home against Maryland,
Win.
at Iowa,
Win.
at
Hawks,
Indiana,
Stay
Win.
out.
home against Penn State,
Win.
then a bye week,
Win.
Ooh, look
then
at that.
home to Michigan State,
Win.
which potentially could be a night game this year, by the way, which I don't like.
Yeah, you don't like that.
But that
Ooh,
could
wee.
be the potential Big Ten night game this year for the
That will be
Michigan
a party.
Wolverines. And then at Rutgers,
Win.
Nebraska,
Win.
Illinois,
Win.
at Ohio State,
Win.
loss.
Win.
You got them
For
undefeated
them.
next year?
Undefeated next year.
Undefeated.
Undefeated
man.
next year with J.J. McCarthy.
They will play.
Look at that
They
scoreboard
will-
now. That's cool.
They will not play a game on the schedule until November 26th, where they play a team with a better quarterback than theirs. That the November 26th at Ohio State is the first time they'll play a game next year where the better quarterback is on the other team.
don't
When's
like
the last
Peyton
time you were
Thorne?
able to say that about Michigan?
Yeah,
You don't
it's
like
been a
Peyton
while.
Thorne?
I like Peyton Thorne. I just think J.J. McCarthy is better, personally. Now, Alex may disagree with me. YT Sparty may disagree
He for
with
sure
me
disagrees with
on
you.
the chat. But yes, I mean,
What do you guys think about Michigan and Michigan State both having that bye week before they play? Like that 2-week buildup is going to be insane.
It'll be like the Super Bowl around here.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Super Bowl around here. Now, this schedule is reworked because last year they had to do some things in the age of COVID where Michigan hosted Michigan State, and then, it was anticipated that Michigan State was going to get the home game against Michigan this year. In fact, 24 hours ago, Michigan was playing at Michigan State this year until the Big Ten reworked this schedule, and they said, not having Michigan play at Michigan State and Ohio State in the same year.
Hey, Scooney's back for Michigan, by the way.
Schoonmaker coming back for his 5th season. I will tell you, as a Michigan fan,
Slappy?
as a Michigan Slappy, fine. Call me a Michigan Slappy. I'll take it. Ooh-wee. I will tell you, I do believe until this NIL situation gets worked out, beating Ohio State every 3rd or 4th year and winning the Big Ten championship is the ceiling for this team. I feel like that. My expectations have kind of changed. No longer am I of the mindset that, let's go win a national championship. You ain't beating Georgia.
Let's win the SEC title. That's what you said.
You ain't winning the SEC title.
Right.
No matter what you do. You're just not winning it. So I do think Michigan could win the Big Ten championship game again next year. And this schedule.
So who are we missing? Wisconsin?
You're missing Wisconsin, Minnesota, and
two more. Northwestern
and Purdue.
Okay.
I don't mind dodging Wisconsin a year.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Take it.
Is that your Tony Montana?
Okay.
Elvira. Another Quello. Shuttle up me in the morning.
Manolo. Shoot that piece.
How'd you get a scar like that?
I'm not going to.
Oh, man. What a great movie.
Frank.
What a great movie.
You know what a huss is, Frank? It's a pig that don't fly straight. Now, let me ask these young kids. Alex, you ever see Scarface? Yeah, I knew it.
Please watch it.
No, look.
Please.
Poor kid.
I will give it up to Alex, though. Like, when Seinfeld came out, and he's talking to us daily about these are like new episodes to him, and he's loving it. He's loving it.
Great.
Fish, have you seen Scarface?
I don't know what a movie is.
Fish doesn't watch movies.
No.
He doesn't watch movies.
I know.
Only Little Giants, right? Wasn't it the only movie you ever watched? What was the only movie you ever watched in full? It was a sports movie, remember?
Moneyball, maybe?
Yeah, Moneyball.
Moneyball's
That's a
great,
good one.
Fish.
Moneyball's a great one.
That's history.
Don't you
Happy
feel?
Gilmore, I've definitely watched.
Yes.
And Maz, you probably experience this even more than I do, and I
Just
think we're the
happening.
same age, Dick. Pretty close within 2 years.
Yep.
When people tell me that they've never seen Major League before, I'm personally offended by that.
You should be.
I feel like it's in I'm personally offended by it.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
It makes me feel old. And I'm not old.
There's these kids that don't even know who Rocky is, by the way.
No, everybody knows who Rocky is.
That's a shame. Most people know who Rocky is.
Everybody
they
knows
should.
who
If they
Rocky
don't,
is.
they're under the same.
Now, Alex, and I'm not saying this to pick on you. I'm asking you this just to find out, just to be
Are
aware.
you in Ostrich? Your head's in the sand.
Have you seen Rocky?
I've seen Rocky.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
All of them?
Oh, never
That's
mind.
all right. No, that's
I've
okay.
seen the first one.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
that's
okay.
all. I just want to make sure
Let's
at least you saw the first one.
Let's not get greedy.
Yeah, fun fact about Major League, my Little League nickname was Wild Thing because I used to be the kid with the goggles.
You got the hair. You had the hair, too.
Yeah, I had the hair, and I could throw.
Inspired a generation.
It did, man.
Inspired a
Just
generation.
Where'd you play?
a bit
California
outside.
Penal League.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Hits like
Ball
Mays,
Ball
runs like
14.
Mays, hits like Hayes.
You got anything on Michigan before?
I got him unbeaten.
Yeah,
That's what I got.
What about Michigan State? You got anything on Michigan State, Stick?
You probably got 8 losses out of that.
Well, let's look at.
Let me see their
look at
schedule one more time.
Alex, who are they missing?
Alex,
LSU.
Alex, give me something on Michigan
Their
State.
one loss will be to Ohio State. Book it. 11-1.
You
Who
think
are they missing?
think they beat Michigan at night at the Big House?
To be determined. Oh, it's at Michigan. I thought that was a home game.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
That's what
Okay.
the big to-do was.
All right. We'll give them 1 or 2 losses, and it will be either Ohio State or Michigan.
Man, look at that 3-game stretch in the middle, though. I mean, that is against Ohio State, against Wisconsin, and then Michigan.
That's the season right there.
We're going to learn a lot about the Spartans.
At least they don't have to play Purdue again.
In October. My goodness. Ohio State, Wisconsin, by Michigan.
And then to close it out with Penn State, too. That's not an easy game. At Penn State.
Loss.
That snow game this year was phenomenal. It came right after the Ohio State-Michigan game, but that was a hell of a game, that Penn State-Michigan State game in the snow.
Yeah, look, I like Michigan State this year. I like their quarterback. I like their coach.
Who's coming back?
The
Naylor?
receiver coming back. Naylor's coming back.
If we look at this graphic, a large majority of it is guys that are coming back this season from left to right. Xavier Henderson and Darius Snow at the very bottom of the screen. Darius Snow could be a sleeper for one of the best safeties in the Big Ten.
Who are these guys? I never heard of any of these guys.
Okay, all right. I'll just
I
shut
don't
up
even know
then.
who these guys are.
That Snow kid, is he
Who's that?
related to Percy Snow?
I believe his
Or
dad
Eric
did
Snow?
play in the league. Or Eric Snow, yep. I think
Get
that's
out of here.
Yep.
Nice.
The kid has a lower body built like a truck. He's incredible.
Jumps like a truck.
And then Jaden Reed on the right. The combination of Jaden Reed and Payne Thorne wreaked havoc in the Big Ten this past season, and I highly anticipated it happening again in 2022.
The great Alex Mayer breaking down the Spartans for us as
while
only
we're
he
on the
could.
Spartans, who are they playing tonight, basketball-wise?
Minnesota
Golden Gophers. We beat them
Yeah, the
back on
Gophers.
December 9th. Shot 47% from three-point range in that game. And that will probably be the key again. We have 5 players shooting 35% or better from behind the three-point line.
You're on the team?
Yeah, I am one of those, Maz.
Good.
Yeah.
Got it.
I love it. Good job, Alex Mayer, everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Alex has grown
And
up
he's
so
got
much.
he's got a new Spartans update that everyone
While
needs
I
to
have
watch.
the floor, everyone
Yep.
go to Twitter,
Yep.
the Woodward Sports Twitter, and watch the latest Michigan State update coming to you every Wednesday morning.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yes, it
Break
is.
that
Eastern
down
Standard
for us.
Time.
Why don't we play that on our air?
We should.
Well, Maz doesn't put it in his prep, so.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alex, you gotta fight for it.
You're the producer as well.
Alex,
Throw it
every
in.
Wednesday I want to see the Michigan State report
Update.
Yes.
Okay.
On our air.
I can get it for the next break if you
Let's
want.
do it.
No,
We'll be-
no, I'm only joking.
The Michigan. What a jerk.
I love Alex.
What a
that's
jerk.
That's my boy.
Literally, it's his son.
We'll have the
Yeah, it's his
Michigan.
son.
We'll have the Michigan State report. We'll have that, and we'll get back into the NFL. I want to talk about some coaching news.
Tune out.
I think they were listening to us in New York yesterday, weren't they? Joe Judge fired.
Oh, thank God
We'll
they
talk
heard
about
me.
that as
I was
well.
screaming.
Armani and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network.
You're
Stick in for Braylon today. Braylon will be back tomorrow. We'll be right back.
I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
So I want to talk to you about your premium lifestyle beverage. And when I'm talking about a premium lifestyle, I'm talking about you're going out, you're having fun with your friends, you're going to LCA like you see there on the screen, you're going to all your sporting events. Well, why don't you have a drink that supports that type of lifestyle? And that's where Cintron comes in. If you're looking for an energy drink, they got that. They have great water as well as other types of drinks that'll help you with your diet and help you with your digestion. Oh, yeah, water's my favorite fish. You know that. So Cintron, this is what you need when you're going out. If you're going on a party, we know it's not boat season yet here in Michigan, but when boat season gets here, make sure you have a whole cooler full of Citron, all of their stuff, from the healthy drinks to the power drinks and to the water. Citron is your premium beverage for your lifestyle.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Alex Mayer, and this is the Michigan State Update, giving you everything you need to know about Spartans basketball. Right now, you're watching highlights from MSU's most recent win against Nebraska a week ago because, as you probably know by now, their game in Ann Arbor against Michigan was postponed to a later date. The Wolverines made the announcement official at 6:45 a.m. on Saturday morning, and according to Tom Izzo, he first learned of it the night before, but says he had no communication issues with Michigan about the matter.
I was very happy with the communication from Juwan. It was a weird time at night. I don't understand all that. I have been critical, and I am critical. I do not think we are, everybody talks about the betterment of the student athletes, and, I think there should be more transparency. I just think from administration standpoint that we should have more clarity on everything, are these things happening because of vaccinations? Are they happening because of boosters? Are they happening because they just happen? What are we going into when we go on the road? I don't know if anybody knows whether we're all vaccinated or they are. Is that fair? I don't know.
Tom Izzo might be okay with the way Juwan Howard handled the situation, but here's my take on it. This game should have been postponed at least 24 hours beforehand, not the night before a 2 p.m. tip-off, especially when Michigan State already made the bus ride down to Ann Arbor and held a practice in the Chrysler Center. It's not like this COVID issue came out of nowhere for the Wolverines, as they were missing multiple players in their most recent loss to Rutgers. Luckily, Michigan learned their lesson and they postponed yesterday's game they had scheduled against Purdue back on Sunday. The only problem is both of these teams have very limited flexibility in their schedules, so don't be surprised if this game doesn't happen at all. The Spartans will return to the floor tonight as they host the Minnesota Golden Gophers, a team they beat back on December 9th in a game where they nearly shot 50% from three-point range, and that will likely be the key again in this game. MSU currently ranks second in the Big Ten in shooting from behind the long line and has 5 players shooting 35% or better. If this is what they want their identity to be this season, then by all means they should go for it to help out with their persistent problem of turnovers, a category they also lead the conference in, as they are averaging 14 giveaways per contest. Tip-off between the Spartans and the Golden Gophers is tonight at 7 p.m. and you can watch it on the Big Ten Network. That's going to be it for this edition of the Michigan State Update. Be sure to read more about Spartans basketball at woodwardsports.com. I'm Alex Mayer, signing off.
Great job, and that's the Michigan State Report done every week, every Wednesday by our Alex Mayer. Does a really nice job for all Spartans content. Give him a follow on Twitter at Alex Mayer, right? Is it Alex Mayer?
Almay _99.
Say it one more time.
At Almay, ALMAY _99.
Great Spartan content. Please give him a follow.
Do you sit in the back studio for that?
No, that's in my. I have
Doesn't
my
look
own
like the back studio, man.
in my basement.
Is that your little kitchen? Is that a kitchen table you're sitting at?
Kitchenette.
It's a kitchenette.
Hey,
Okay.
before we move on to the NFL, can I just do this quickly? I want to show you the AP way too early top 25. I mean, Michigan wasn't even involved in this last year, but both Michigan State in the top 10. Michigan ranked at number 5. Michigan State at number 10. I don't like that ranking for Michigan. I mean, it's fine. I think these, outside of the top 2 or 3, but even Clemson was ranked number 2 last year. I mean, we saw Iowa State at number 7. I mean, these rankings mean absolutely nothing right now. It's going to be a new team for everybody outside of Alabama and Ohio State. I mean, those 2 teams specifically bring back 2 Heisman leading, a Heisman winner and a Heisman contender in the quarterback positions. Alabama is going to be hard to beat next year. Ohio State's going to be hard to beat next year.
It's crazy where they got Notre Dame on this list too, with the coaching change and everything. So they're saying that not much is going to change at Notre Dame. They're sitting there at number 8. I'm with you. I don't love being ranked this high too early because you like to lose and then build back up if you take that one loss. Like the loss to Michigan State this year for Michigan, probably the best thing that could have happened to them at that time, right?
I mean, well, yeah, the timing of everything. I would have much rather won the game, but if you're going to lose it,
that's when you have to, right? Middle of the season, then you got time to rebuild and climb back up, and they did it.
I will say one thing I hate about Michigan's schedule, and we just showed it to you. Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I hate that. I do hate that.
I like it better than playing the MAC schools. To be honest with you.
Should have played at Hawaii.
Well, I don't like that either. What I'm saying is there should be one game on there that you're like
You gotta
Ohio
fight
State,
for.
Ohio State, Notre Dame next year.
Right, you got to fight for.
You got
you
Ohio
need one.
State, Notre Dame next year.
You know
I
what?
mean,
A leadoff game would have been nice against the real. Remember the old kickoff classic?
Yeah.
You know, pick anyone. BYU, we could have played.
Should've gone to Iowa
Utah.
and Northwestern.
But again, that's why I think you expand the playoff. Because you can't lose that game and then lose a conference game.
Right.
Because you're not going in with 2 losses. But if you want to see the regular season improve in college football, and I know Michigan's future schedules, they'll play Texas, they'll play Notre Dame in their future schedules. I believe there's an Oklahoma even mixed in there, if memory serves correct. I could take a look at that in a second. But if you want the regular season, if you don't want to play these 3 patsies in the beginning of the year, expand the playoff. Because that way it doesn't matter what happens in that game.
The strategy for the entire
Right.
NCAA would change because
Right.
now you're kind of in like basketball mode where you like the Izzo factor. I want to schedule these tough games early so I can be better by the end of the season.
You taking my telepathic brainwaves.
Is that what you were going to say, man?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Izzo jumps right on it, right at the beginning, even if he's going to get his butt kicked.
They take those thumps
Yep.
because it's worth it in March when it's like, okay, you guys remember back in December when we lost to North Carolina on the road in North Carolina, or we came back from a 10-point down? We could do it again. Like, those are such good building blocks. So, yeah, if they do that, it totally changes, I think, the approach for every NCAA football coach.
Well, don't forget, there's word that the Big Ten is going to merge with the Pac-12 and the maybe the Big 12. Remember all that talk?
Hey, look.
If they merge, or if they don't merge, they even said if they don't merge, they'll do a crossover schedule. At least they'll be playing against each other.
Look.
where you get rid of these crap games.
It's a very easy thing. College football, and I got to give Ryan Day credit for this at Ohio State, and it pains me to say that, but I think he was so spot on. 5 years from now, you will not recognize college football. It is not going to be the sport that we grew up with, and maybe that's fine. Maybe it'll just be different, but it'll be much different from anything we know. Future schedules for the University of Michigan, 2023, East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green. And then in 2024, at Texas. In 2025, at Oklahoma. 2026, a home date against Oklahoma. 2027, a home date against Texas. And then in 2033-34, that's what you got to wait for Notre Dame.
Wow, that long?
Notre Dame, yeah.
Wow, by the way, number 24 and number 25 on the top 25, Texas and USC. 2 of the teams that are playing the NIL game almost perfectly. Texas A&M ranked 3rd, one of the top NIL programs. Alabama is on a different platform. Ohio State, they'll probably be right back to where they were prior to losing to Michigan. I thought they were going to be a fantastic team. Ryan Day will get them back going unless Jim Harbaugh got it right and said some guys think they were born on, some guys think they hit a triple when they were born on third base.
Every day that Jim Harbaugh has not signed a contract extension that has been announced with the University of Michigan scares me more than I was the day before. Every day that goes along frightens me
Dolphins
just a little bit more. And it's not about, again, the NFL is out there. It is all about this NIL. And if Jim Harbaugh does leave Michigan, that tells you that Michigan is not prepared to do what
Correct.
it takes to win in college football.
Would he leave them bare like that without a coach in waiting?
I think maybe you could assume there is one in Mike McDonald or Mike Hart or I don't know.
No, not Mike Hart yet.
Okay, Mike McDonald. I mean, is that if Sean McVay can coach the LA Rams at 34, Mike McDonald can coach the University of Michigan at 35 or 36.
I think the one thing you should fall back and feel comfortable about, though, is Harbaugh's already been there.
Yeah.
Like, if Harbaugh had never been a pro coach, I would be very scared right now. But the fact that he's been there, he knows what it takes. He knows, like, the crap that comes along with being a pro coach. Because there's a big difference,
he'll want control.
Yes. And how many teams are willing to just shove that over to
the
him?
one that's potentially open?
The Dolphins?
The Raiders.
The Raiders? They just tried that, though. Tried giving one guy full autonomy, and how did that work out?
It might have worked out for him. I mean, you can't when you're making a hire like that, you don't think, during the investigation into the Washington football team, my head coaching candidate is going to get caught up in some emails.
I know, but when you do that and you give someone full autonomy, like I think they'd be a little gun shy to do it again because they just got burned.
Fair enough, but it's more telling about the University of Michigan than it is about Jim Harbaugh. My belief, anyway. I like I said, I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to the NFL because he wants to go back to the NFL. I think if he went to the NFL, it would be because
college is unrecognizable to him.
Because Michigan is not, the university is not willing to do what it takes to compete at the highest level. And if you're not competing at the highest level, I'm sorry, what are you doing? What are you in it for then?
I just think if he walks away after this year, you're leaving so much on the table of what could be.
Again, I'm not saying, I don't think it would be him walking away from Michigan. I think it would be him walking away from a situation that will not improve.
So you're just he doesn't believe in the product moving forward, essentially. Like these guys aren't prepared
into the university.
Yeah,
like the actual university, from the president to the regents to anybody that you need to build this NIL situation. You can look at that top 25 again.
By the way, did you notice Cincinnati's not in there?
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
13.
Yeah,
How did
13.
I miss them? Okay.
Yep.
Alabama, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Georgia. Those 4 teams. And you know what? Michigan's like Notre Dame. Notre Dame will never win a national championship unless Notre Dame is willing to do whatever it takes to help facilitate NIL deals.
If you don't get dirty, you're not going to win.
And it's not even dirty anymore.
No,
you are
dirty.
playing by the rules.
Yeah, but it's dirty.
Oh, man, the way these guys are playing, setting up dummy corporations.
It's dirt.
Like,
it's freaking dirt.
Hey, Michigan's got boosters, so if they fail at this, then they got to look themselves in the mirror. Michigan got plenty of money.
That's the point I'm trying to make, exactly. Coaching news, Joe Judge out. Maz, I want to get your reaction to that as a lifelong Giants fan.
And the Bears might have a coach coming up.
Yep. Lots going on. Armani and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. You know them. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years, 9 decades of success. You must be doing something right to stay in the game that long. That's right. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It says one thing. It says stay out.
Stay out.
That's right. Stay out. That's what it says. Guardian Alarm. State-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm. Convenient features that let you lock and unlock your doors. Even going to let you control your lights. Detect smoke, carbon monoxide, everything you need right there at the palm of your hand. All you got to do today is step up, stand in, and go hard for your family. In order to do that, you got to call one number. That's it. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Novak Djokovic.
Stay out.
What number is that,
Stay
Fish?
out.
1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out. Stay out. Get out.
1-800-STAY.
Stay out.
Everybody on the YouTube chat with me. Are you ready on the YouTube chat? Come on.
Ryan, there's a 30-second delay. It's going to be a second.
1-800-STAY-OUT.
Lions Rebel, Joe Judge, stay out.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Don't come back.
Don't forget the carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Detect it from your phone. That's awesome.
And control your lights.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Maz, Joe Judge out in New York.
Thank
you say
God.
what?
Thank God. And it's nothing against him. Yeah, it is. But Dave Gettleman was horrible as a general manager. 4 losing seasons. Some draft picks that were you could roll your eyes at. I hope Daniel Jones turns out to be the guy. Unfortunately, he had a crap situation. Hey, how did our former wide receiver do? with the New York Football Giants.
0 touchdowns.
Kenny Golladay.
Taylor Decker caught more touchdown passes in 2021
Kenny.
than Kenny Golladay did. And I want to thank everybody on the YouTube chat quickly. Lions Rumble, D. Smitty, Clam Sauce, Adam Morency, Cobazilla, Matt Carrier, YT Sparty, Greg Chen, Mark Speed. My goodness. Yeah, baby. Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stay out.
Stay out.
They did it. Anyway, back to the
Appreciate
Giants. They are struggling. I don't know what they're going to do with Saquon Barkley. He doesn't look like the same guy anymore. The wide receivers, Kadarius Toney, they took. He gets hurt all year. They don't throw to him in the beginning of the year. This is a kid that's got a lot of speed.
Great.
They have some talent there. They just need a complete transfusion. Hope the GM comes in. Like I say, I pray Bill Parcells gets hired as at least the president. I know he's 80 years old. Let him bring in some people. Let him bring in the people. Where are the people? Bring on the people.
Maz, is there somebody that you like? Forget about Bill Parcells. No offense, but Bill Parcells is not the guy.
Yeah, he is. Tom Coughlin, Bill Parcells. I want to go back to the future.
I know you do, but I want to look to the future.
But I'm not making them GM and coach, Ryan. I'm making them the boss of the team. John Mara's the owner.
Okay.
Let these guys be the boss.
Here's a different question for you. If you are Bill Parcells, who do you want Bill Parcells to go get? Give me a guy. Give me 2 guys. Give me 3 guys.
I need a huge name. A huge name. I want to go into the college ranks.
I got a guy for you.
How about Jim Harbaugh in New York?
Nope. I got a guy for you, and I just don't understand. There's something not right about it. If I'm in charge of an organization, the first call I'm making.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Louis Riddick.
Louis Riddick. I'm calling him up, and he's going to be the first guy I interview, Louis Riddick. I don't know why he's broadcasting still. And maybe the Matt Millen thing ruined it for some people.
It did.
But what about the John Lynch thing, who did the same thing and led a team to a Super Bowl and has a team in the playoffs? It can work. And for the Millen thing got bad because of the extension. You know, I mean, if you just hired Millen and then cut him loose after one contract, that's one thing. But then
to double
down on it. So I don't want to hear about the Matt Millen. I don't understand why Louis Riddick is not a guy that is running an NFL franchise.
Hell, Ryan Clark even. I mean, if you really want to get it. I mean, these guys on ESPN, these former players, they're kicking it, man. They're killing it. Dan Orlovsky. Why not just put a whole freaking brain trust together? The Giants need a bombshell name. They truly do.
But the bottom line, though,
this is the New York Giants, man.
I know, but look, the way
for Christ,
I love how you put them on a pedestal. The Giants are like
they're an elite team.
They're not.
Yes, they are. They're NFL history elite.
They got 2 lucky Super Bowls against the Patriots, and before that,
you're losing. They're an original NFL team.
I understand all that, but just because you're an original 6 NHL team doesn't mean you're forever good.
The Rangers are a royalty team in the NHL, although they've won 2 Stanley Cups since 1942.
The Maple Leafs are an original 6 team, and they've been trashed
by
the
lifetime since the 60s.
So one thing about the NFL. In Michael Lombardi, who I always refer to, I think he's a genius. I love Michael Lombardi.
Hire him then.
You could hire him. You could hire him. I mean, he's a guy that's been with Belichick, been with Saban for so many years.
How about our guy here that gets passed over a lot? Used to be with the Browns, John Dorsey.
Fine.
Maybe he comes back alive. I don't know.
Dorsey was great in Indy.
Yeah.
One of the things he talks about in terms of hiring head coaches, every year, nearly, what do we have, 7 openings seven openings as of right now. There's 32 teams. You're talking about over 30%. Every year, 30% of your workforce is turnover. So whatever you're doing to hire these guys, your hiring practices are wrong. If you have to hire 30% every year, you're doing it wrong. Why are they doing it wrong? So the whole process needs to be blown up.
Well, I think there's more to it than just letting them go as well. It's also not being able to stick with your plan. Like we heard Brad Holmes talking about it earlier. Like, this is our plan and we stuck with it. Sometimes the pressure gets put on you, and a lot of these guys get fired when they shouldn't be fired too. You know, it's like, hey, you look at, I love the Steelers, right? You love that franchise. You want to talk about history. The last time they finished last in their division was 1988. 1988. And you look at a team like that and they just build it up, and that's how they continue to be great, and they never let off, and that's the one thing that I love about them.
Talking about the Steelers.
Yeah.
Their general manager, Kevin Colbert, used to be here with the Lions. Lions let him walk. He goes to Pittsburgh and builds a dynasty over there. He's retiring this year, so congrats to Kevin Colbert. I wish what you did in Pittsburgh, you could have stayed here and done in Detroit, but it just didn't work out. We just don't keep the right people, obviously.
Well, I think we give up on people. Like the Rooneys don't give up on anybody.
Right.
Man, look at, they've had 3 head coaches in their entire organization.
Yep.
Like, sometimes that stability goes a long way, and just because a team has a down season doesn't mean you have to blow it up. It means that maybe a couple bounces didn't go your way this year and stuff like that. So to your point, Ryan, I think sometimes teams get ahead of themselves and fire qualified people before they should be fired.
If you want to go way back, the Lions had Don Shula on their staff.
Yeah,
we had Bill Belichick on our staff at one point.
That's right.
Maz, videos of the day next. It's already that time. What a couple of hours this has been.
Hold on. Brian Flores. He is talking to the Chicago Bears.
He will not.
Do you want him in Chicago?
I do not want him in Chicago.
He will not be out of a job quickly.
No.
He's a good coach.
I don't want him in Chicago.
He will not be unemployed for long.
Or Minnesota.
Brian Flores probably going to get that job in Chicago as well if they were smart. Armani and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brad Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hey, it's Maz for the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Chris and Noni Hut, the best host you could ask for. Go in, tell them the guys at Woodward Sports have sent you, and the gals, of course. They competed against our little Christmas party we had there. A couple of ways to play at the Folding Warehouse. Host your corporate party, team building event. Just come in with your family and friends. 2 ways to play: $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. They got over 100 beers, a $2 mystery beer machine, and several multiple full bars. You bring the food or have it delivered. What is folding? It's throwing football at bowling pins. You can't beat that. Come get your fold on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
Woodward Sports Network. Stick, I want to thank you for pinch hitting today. Absolutely. Braylon will be back tomorrow. Very, very good job, my friend. First time we've ever done a show together.
Yeah, I've sat in here with Braylon, but I've never sat in here with you, so it's fun, man.
It's great,
Appreciate
man.
the invite, guys.
I didn't appreciate you taking my vibes out of my brain, though.
It's scaring me that I'm thinking like Maz. I may have to reevaluate my thoughts.
I'm proud of you.
Absolutely.
By the way, before we get into the videos of the day, we were going to do our NFL season awards, end of the season awards today, but we got to wait till Braylon. But since Stick was pinch hitting, he did his awards, and Alex did a great graphic. Let's put it up. And Stick, why don't you go over them little by little here?
All right. So, yeah, these are the 2022 NFL awards. Offensive Player of the Year, I picked Mr. Tom Brady. He led pretty much the league in every statistical category for a quarterback, over 5,000 yards, and he's Tom Brady. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I went against some people. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Woo! And the reason I went with him is I can actually make this argument, right? So he was 5th in reception yards. He was 2nd in reception targets. He was 2nd in rushing yards for rookie wide receivers, and he was really only behind Jamar Chase in a lot of these categories. But I'm looking at the all-around game and what he provided for us. He won Rookie of the Month several times. He's up for it again. I don't know if they announced that yet for this last week. So if you win several Rookie of the Months, why not make him Rookie of the Year?
There you go.
I'm not going to argue.
What else you got? Give me 60 seconds.
Yep, 60 seconds. Defensive Player of the Year, T.J. Watt, absolute animal. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Micah Parsons. If nobody has that, I don't know what to tell you about football. Coach of the Year, this man right here, Dan Campbell.
Wow.
He took the dumpster fire. He made it respectable, and by the end of the season, we were all singing his praises.
3 wins and a tie.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The mid-season adjustment to take over play calling, comeback of the year. I'm not sure how Dak can even walk on that ankle, and I will argue this too. MVP Ryan Tannehill.
Look at this guy.
Wow.
Lost a 2,000-yard running back, kept his team #1 as the #1 overall seed in the AFC. I don't care what you want to say about him stat-wise. That is a leader. That is a valuable player.
Nice going, man. That's the Stick NFL Awards. We'll have our Beeline Awards tomorrow with Braylon.
What do you got for me, man?
I'll take you back to Monday night. These are a couple of good ball players on the Georgia defensive side. Nakobe Dean getting on his teammate, Channing Tyndall. Didn't like his action. He said, "Come on, man." And then Tyndall responded.
With touchdowns in the red zone. They were 0 for 2. This is a play that Nakobe Dean catches a break, gets a little excited with his partner, Tyndall, saying, "Hey, man, you got to be aware.
You got to be aware, baby."
Look at this hit now.
And that next play, right?
Off of that energy and that push
Look at him chase that guy down.
Nakobe Dean. Give me Nakobe Dean. You know what, man, I'd take him at 2.
Oh, my. That's a reach. You're gonna
Take
hear
Jordan Davis at 2.
You're going to hear Mel Kiper. That's a reach.
Yeah, what does Mel Kiper know?
Exactly. He's like my neighbor. My neighbor's a mailman.
What is that Mel Kiper
He knows hair.
know?
That was
He's got
great.
great hair.
Oh, God.
Hey, that was a hell of a game on Monday night. Congrats to the Georgia Bulldogs. First win in 41 years since the Herschel Walker years when they won the Sugar Bowl. Keith Jackson in the corner. Touchdown.
Touchdown. It's touchdown.
Hey, the other day we showed you Tom Brady refused to come off the field. Bruce Arians trying to pull him off the field. He's like, "I'm not getting off the field till I feed Gronk his $1 million catch." This is the Gronk side of things. Check Gronk out, man. How do you not love this guy?
Let's go. I need one more. Yeah. If I don't get the 7th catch, I have to go get a real job.
Give me that Millie. Give me that Millie. Give me that Millie.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Gronkowski get his catch here.
Gronk says, "I need one more catch." Let's get one more catch.
Look how
You
easy
need one
this
more
is.
catch?
What does that mean?
Woo!
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching,
Gronkowski has his
baby.
catch bonus.
That's right.
Listen.
Good pass, dog.
Good pass, dog.
Thanks for the Millie.
Thanks, baby. Thank you, dog.
Yeah, I got it.
Can you imagine that?
They're
Can you
going out to
imagine
dinner,
that,
baby.
Stick?
I honestly can't.
No.
I can't even fathom that. But
Like just stacks.
That's like me winning like a $100 bill.
Stacks.
Hey, if I can get this one last word in, I get $100.
Right.
Fun fact about Rob Gronkowski, though, is he doesn't cash his NFL paychecks. He
Bitcoin,
only lives
right?
off endorsements.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only
He's
lives
smart.
off endorsements.
Wow.
For a dummy, he is very smart.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people do the other way.
They
They live off the
paycheck.
the paycheck.
I thought you were
and
going to say he went to St. Mary's.
No.
No, he did not.
Fish.
Hey, I got a couple more good ones for you. 35 years ago today, we take you back to the Browns and the Broncos.
Ooh.
The Browns this close to getting in the Super Bowl, but John Elway took them on the drive.
Ooh wee.
Listen to Dick Enberg.
3:20 to winder. Elway's got some running room.
Elway.
Dick Enberg.
See, this is what the Lions need to do. The Lions need to change their uniforms. Look at these Broncos uniforms, and then look what, I mean.
And look what happened to Tampa Bay when they changed
Tampa
their
Bay,
uniform.
I'm serious. The Lions need a new uniform. Blue helmets.
Or all black. Go with the all blacks.
Yeah,
Let's
I
get
think
some attitude.
Or white helmets.
I do like that white helmet look. I like the uniforms they wore last week, too.
Yeah. Go, baby. Go, John.
How was that Elway's last game ever? The Super Bowl.
was.
Sewell
33.
catch.
You were
What a
probably at this
rocket.
game too, Maz, weren't you?
No, but
Look
I
at
was
this.
watching.
What a rocket
He
he had
wasn't
as an
sliding
arm.
in. The helicoptered into the end zone.
There it is.
Mark Jackson.
99 yards.
Look at that.
Took him down the field, and the Browns still have not made a Super Bowl. That is a heartbreaker for Cleveland fans. And a great day in New York is when football really meant something. The New York Jets and Joe Namath. How about that? 1969. Today was Super Bowl III.
I couldn't care less if the team is struggling.
He doesn't even predict it.
Listen to Kirk Kelsey on the call.
3rd and 4. Namath fires. It's complete.
18.5-point underdogs. 18.5 points.
But he guaranteed victory.
He did.
Kind of sounds like the Jags against the Colts.
Matt Snell. Yes.
Is that Benny Snell's dad?
No.
These referees.
Look at this.
Firing.
Is that Sauer?
These referees are like 60, 70 years old trying to keep up with these guys.
Look at Joe Willie.
They still are today.
Look at Joe Willie.
Effortless.
Look at that Lombardi trophy.
Look at that.
Look at that.
He's got it.
Goose pimples.
Don Maynard's got to get a ball.
How do you know?
Picked off.
The game is over.
Unbelievable.
Here we go.
Who was that number 19 for the Colts?
Johnny Unitas. How about that, huh?
Unbelievable.
And the best thing ever, I can't show it to you because it's copyrights or whatever, but 66 years ago today, my favorite show of all time was born. Batman.
Batman, get out of here.
On Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Man, that was what a time.
Ooh-wee.
And I still, to this day, watch the repeats, of course, and own the whole series.
How do you not?
You love Adam West.
I love Adam West.
You
and
should have
Burt
gotten
Ward.
Burt Ward
I
on
get Burt
today.
Ward. I get him on the phone right
You
now.
could?
Call up Burt.
I get Burt Ward.
Get
on.
out of here.
Yeah.
Why didn't we call him today? You're telling me
I should've.
2 minutes to the end of the show.
Have you ever played the game with Maz, who's the most famous person in your phone?
Who is the most famous person
He has
in your
everyone.
phone?
I got a lot. I'm not sure who the most
Wojo.
famous
Now,
was.
do you legitimately could
Dan
call Burt
Dickerson.
Ward?
Yes, I can call Burt Ward. Yes.
Put him on speakerphone.
For
I
everybody
don't
under
get
the
paid
age
over-
of
I don't
70,
get
who is
paid
Burt
overtime.
Ward?
Burt Ward was Robin the Boy Wonder in the Batman series.
Jeepers.
He looks like me now, unfortunately for him.
Oh, my God.
Life. You know, what are you going to do?
Life gets in the way.
It's crazy. Holy hell, Batman. Holy hell,
Jolly Gee
Maz.
Willikers.
All right, Stick, what a great effort out of you today, man.
Great
Thank you
effort.
so much. Certainly
all I can
appreciate
do.
it. Fish, great to be with you on Wednesdays. As much
sir.
grief as we give you, you know we love you and we miss you. We love our guy Sam, but we love you as well. Alex, every Wednesday I want to see the Michigan State Report on the Bottom Line Woodward Sports Network. Maz, man, I'm telling you, love you.
Love
and
you.
Braylon, I love you, Braylon.
Miss you,
We see you, Brad.
I love you, Braylon.
We see you, Brad.
I'll see you tomorrow, Braylon, and we'll see
Tomorrow
you tomorrow.
night.
Hey, tell a friend about us, please. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We are anywhere you find your podcasts. We are there. Anywhere you find your podcast, we're there.
And on
Bluetooth your
radio,
car.
too.
Check. We're on the radio, on the Roar, 99.1 FM, 93.5 FM, 94.7 HD2 FM. Give us a shout. Give us a look. I'll even do push-ups for you.
Oh.
Don't do it.
Curtis says, Ryan, do push-ups. I will do them for you if you continue to tell your friends about us. Sermani and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. See you tomorrow.
Giovanni Smith going up against Jeffrey Brielle, and let's remember, Smith laid out Middleton the last time these two faced off, and Middleton's still injured.
Yeah, we saw in the last game, Viel is